This video is over topic 29, numbers 3 through 5. So jumping ahead to those, we are looking at calculating slope. So you will have on the formula sheet this formula. So you have that to look at. You have to know that that is the formula to calculate slope. It doesn't tell you that on the formula sheet, but you have that. When you're given 2 points on a graph, you can kind of count or calculate how far apart more visually. When you just have the ordered pairs, you could draw them on a graph if you want. But what you need to know, even if you're putting them onto a graph, is that each pair is an X and a Y in that order, X and then Y. So write down, label them, and then pick one of the points as 1 and the other point as 2. So if I choose this way, then I have the 2 is x1, the 23 is y1, and the 5 is x2, and the 14 is y2. Then I go look at my equation. It tells me first thing I need is y2, so that's 14. Then minus, then y1, I grab y1, and that's 23. Have my division fraction bar. Underneath, I have x2. x2 is 5 minus, and then x1 over here is 2. So 14 minus 23 is -9. 5 minus 2 is 3. -9 over 3 is -3. Now, it doesn't matter which point you call 1 and which you call 2. So if I have my 2, 23, and 5, 14, and I call these x2, y2, and then the 5 and 14, x1 and y1. And I plug those in. Y2 is 23 minus y1 is 14 over x2 is 2 minus x1 is 5. Now notice the points that came, the numbers that came from the same ordered pair line up with each other vertically in each case. So the main thing with the 1s and 2s is just to make sure you're subtracting the x's in the same direction as you subtract the y's. Otherwise, it'll come out the opposite sign of what it should. Here, 23 minus 14 is 9. 2 minus 5 is -3. So we got the negative on the bottom instead of the top. But as long as there's still only one negative sign, it's still going to come out to that same -3 result. Another of these, number 4, slope between the points 3, 7 and -5, 19. So again, I'll go x1, y1, x2, y2. Looking at the formula sheet to get my m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then I just plug in y2 is 19 minus y1 is 7. x2 is -5 minus x1 is 3. 19 minus 7 is 12. -5 minus 3 is -8. That simplifies to -3 over 2. And you could also have done it the other way around. Then you would have, I'll just do this in a different color. If you call this x2, y2, and x1, y1, and you end up with 7 minus 19 over 3 minus -5. You just have to be a little careful with that one. It becomes -12 over, this would be 3 plus 5, so +8. Again, simplifies to the -3 halves. And then number 5, we have a table of values here with a phone plan. It has a 6 GB data allowance. If you go over that limit, the cost follows the table. So what's the y-intercept? Y-intercept is the value of y when x equals 0. So I find x equals 0, that's here, and I find the value of, in this case, instead of y, it's C of X. So the output value. So that would be 80. What does that mean about this phone plan? So X represents number of gigabytes over. So gigabytes over limit or over allowance. And we're looking at that being 0. So if you don't go over the 6 gigabyte allowance, you don't go over the 6 gigabyte data allowance, then you pay $80. So that there. All right, the slope for this relationship. Remember, one way to think of slope is what is the y counting by if x is counting by 1. So you could go, yeah, the x is counting by 1, 0, 1, 2. Then what is y counting by? And if I look at this, it goes from 80 to 95 to 110 to 125. So on. If I look at any two of those, figure out just how far apart they are. So I could do a subtraction or might not even need to, but it's 15. It's counting by 15. So that is the slope. So that's one way. Another way is to pick any 2 points and do the slope formula. So I could do 95 minus 80 over 1 minus 0. So you're finding the change in y, the change in c of x, divided by the change in x. I could do 140 minus 110 over 4 minus 2. I could do 95 minus 155 over 1 minus 5. Just any 2 points. Subtract the y values on top, subtract the x values in the same order on the bottom. So yeah, various ways you could go about that to get 15. So what does that 15 mean about this data plan? Slope is change in y. In this case, y is c of x, which is the cost of the plan. So we're looking at a change in cost per 1 unit of x, and in that case, that would be per gigabyte of data. So it's 15, it's positive 15, so it's increase. So we could say the cost increases by $15 per gigabyte over the allowance. We probably wouldn't even say the cost increases. We would probably say the plan, maybe the plan charges an extra $15 for every gigabyte of data over the 6 gigabyte limit, something like that. All right.